Tour Guide Max from Journey Walks here, and I'd like to share a little story with you. The theme of this story is a simple question. Where does the name Sydney come from? So let's begin. 2,500 years ago in ancient Greece, there was once a fantastic god who was worshipped throughout the Mediterranean. His name was Dionysus, and he was the god of making wine, drinking wine, getting drunk from wine, and blurring the lines between strangers and friends. As you can imagine, he was a very popular deity. So popular that in fact, many people throughout the ancient world were named after him, and names such as Dion, Dinas, and Dennis spread throughout Greek and into Roman times in his honour. By the 3rd century AD, a young Roman man called Dennis would also enter history. These were still pagan times, but Dennis had converted to Christianity and travelled from his home in Italy to the Roman city of Paris in order to preach. But dangerous times for Christians meant it wasn't long before Dennis was captured and decapitated on top of a hill in the centre of Paris. However, this would only cement his legend, for it is said that Dennis's head continued to preach as it rolled down the hill and was eventually picked up by his own body and carried down the road a few miles before collapsing. When Christianity soon took over the Roman Empire, Dennis was made into a saint, and his miracle decapitation story became a very popular icon. In fact, even today, Dennis is the patron saint of Paris, and he is also the patron saint of headaches, including hangovers. Dionysus, the god of wine, would be proud. Now, as time rolled on, Saint Denis, or in French, Saint Denis, would also have a basilica and a town dedicated to him just outside the city. And about the 12th century, the Count of the town, Saint Denis, relocated from France to England so he could marry into a rich family. But he carried the name Saint Denis with him, and through his bloodline, it continued through many English generations. To detach it from an unwanted French connection, however, the spelling of Saint Denis became anglicised around the 16th century, so that it was now pronounced Sidonie. In 1783, a descendant of the Sidonie family tree, called Thomas Townshend, was to be made a lord. This was a great honour and allowed him to choose a new title. Looking back at the branches of his ancestry, he decided the Sidonie line to be the most respectable, although he wanted to update the spelling one last time. The result? Thomas Townshend's official new title was Lord Sydney. So the name Sydney was born. But where does Australia fit in? Well, at the time, Lord Sydney was an important English politician. It was his job to find a new solution that would rid England from the hordes of cursed convicts rotting throughout its overcrowded jails. After deciding upon a distant land in the far corners of the earth, he wished the 11 ships of the First Fleet farewell as they began their long and arduous voyage to Botany Bay. Much to the fleet's disappointment when they finally arrived, they found this bay to be a real flop when it came to starting a colony. On the other hand, another extensive waterway next door, called Port Jackson, proved to be a much better option. In a final leg of their journey, the ships relocated to a cove in this harbour that was chosen because it boasted a fresh spring of water and a deep shoreline next to a rocky headland. In honour of Lord Sydney, the governor distinguished it by the name Sydney Cove. The rest, my friends, is history. So there you have it, Sydney. An English lord, a French count, a headless saint, and even a drunken god are woven into your story as it stretches back through the millennia. Now that deserves a drink. Cheers.